First, let's go into the paper review this morning, getting to see what the headlines are across Nigerian newspapers. I have with me in the studio some of our regulars. Dr. Dayo Kayode is here, as well as Shijibumi Adebi Bennett. Gentlemen, good morning. Good to see you.
Mike. How are you? And happy anniversary.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Wishing you more blissful years ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, let's get into the papers now. Blueprint is where we're starting from. Blueprint says, gunmen invade church, kidnap woman, reverend sister in Imo State. That's a Blueprint newspaper. From there, let's go to Business AM. Nigeria's debt overhang. Relax, don't worry. Debt risks a moderate ratio under control. Nigeria's debt overhang. Relax, don't worry. Debt risks are moderate and ratios are under control. That's what government is saying. Report credited to government here. Now from there, let's go to First News. First News is focusing on Forex market. And it says CBN moves to tackle dollarization of Nigeria's economy. Okay. CBN moves to tackle dollarization of Nigeria's economy. From there, let's go to Daily Trust. Daily Trust says insecurity entices investors to airline business. Insecurity entices investors to airline businesses. Now, 25 airlines underway. Highway attacks make road transport unattractive and boosts in airlines operations a global trend. Experts are saying this. All right. We'll certainly look at this as we get along. Now, the Daily Times is next. Weekend of bloodbath as lawlessness spreads. Weekend of bloodbaths as lawlessness spreads. Really troubling in many parts of the country. From there, let's go to Leadership newspaper. It is focusing on grazing routes. Southern governors to meet over PMB stands. That's President Muhammadu Buhari. Insist on open grazing ban. Northern states begin construction of grazing reserves as Niger, Plateau, Jigawa intensify work on projects. I think we'll talk about this too as we open discussions shortly. Business Day is next. Nigeria's high political risk puts energy sector on life support. Nigeria's high political risk puts energy sector on life support. From there, let's go to the Nation newspaper. The Nation says, government considers pension for MKO's next of kin and Kingibe. This democracy, not what Abiola died for, says son, Kola. That's MKO Abiola's son, one of his sons. All right, that's the Nation newspaper. If we have time, we'll certainly be looking at that. Vanguard newspaper is next. Vanguard says regional groups raise dust over Buhari's June 12 speech. Pande for Haneze, Afenifere Middle Belt Forum can fault Buhari's Democracy Day speech. A speech is not in Nigeria's best interest. Afenifere is saying this. President didn't speak his mind. Haneze is saying this. It's hollow, lacks substance. Pandef is saying this. Apologize for plunging Nigerians into hardship. Middle Belt Forum tells Buhari rather, we are concerned with realities on ground, not rhetorics. Khan is saying this. All right. All reactions from the June 12 speech to Nigerians by the president. From there, let's go to the Guardian newspaper. Twitter, Facebook undecided on federal government's licensing order as losses rise. Nigerians ignore India's coup for Twitter. Trend June 12 protests. All right, social media influencers, others count losses to tune of 25 billion naira in 10 days. Okay, all right, that's the Guardian. The Sun, Daily Sun says uproar over plan to reopen grazing routes. It will set Nigeria on fire. NEF, Afenifere Igbo groups warn federal government. Insist open grazing not permissible now. Anonymous letter threatening mayhem over ban in Delta. All right. From there, let's go to the Punch newspaper. The Punch says Buhari's cow routes gazette doesn't exist. Grazing ban stays, say states. Show us grazing routes in Ondo if it exists, Akeredolu's aide tells federal government. No part of Benue designated as grazing routes, says Governor Utom. Law, not a federal law. Buhari lacks powers to implement it. A senator is saying this. All right. These are some of the issues we'll certainly be looking at. News Direct says federal government to construct gas pipeline from Nigeria to Morocco. Okay. This has been in the pipeline for the pipeline construction has been in the pipeline for a long time. You know. Let's then the Nigerian Tribune is the last one we're looking at now. Food prices soar, push more Nigerians into poverty. Farmers in Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto blame banditry, kidnapping. Federal government speaks on recovery plan. Okay. Food prices soar, push more Nigerians into poverty. Okay, those are some of the stories on the front page of Nigerian Tribune. Okay, gentlemen, let's take a look at the story on the Punch and leadership are of the same, coming from the same source and talking about the same thing. Now, the Punch says Buhari's cow roots gazette doesn't exist. Grazing ban states. Recall that southern state governors came together in Delta State to ban or to make plan to ban open grazing in the country, and that has generated some level of reaction, you know, up and down as the case may be. But talk to us basically, because from a report credited to the presidency or federal government, saying that the issue of open grazing ban, there are illegalities to it one way or the other. Shijibumi, let me start with you on this. What do you make of this?
Yes, I think sometimes we have to, the governors and the people close to government have to be very decisive and let the president know when he makes a mistake. There are some mindsets that are obsolete, that cannot really, that can't stand this test of the current time. You can't be talking about grazing routes in 1963 or 1957 constitution. Some of those constitutions did not even have Nigerian names. I remember when I was studying geography, you have maybe Reynolds or all those Englishmen constitutions.
So those were pre-independence constitutions, Littleton, Matheson, yes, all of that.
All those constitutions. And then when you come to, even after independence, when you talk about the First Republic, 1963 and all those constitutions, now we're in the Fourth Republic. And sometimes, like when the INEC people came to meet him the other time, and that was what generated this Twitter issue. He asked the question if he had not been following the Constitution. On this, I think it's a breach of the Constitution. I'm not a lawyer, but the lawyers can help us out. Because the 1999 Constitution vested the responsibility on land use on the state governments. So if a state governor says, this is what we are doing, this is the policy in my state, the president cannot say that grazing routes or reserves should be rediscovered again. So I don't think it makes sense. I don't think it's something that we should be talking about now. And I like the fact that the southern governors have come together irrespective of party lines and have taken a stand. If we have ABGAI and we have APC and PDP in the whole of the 17 states in the south, and unanimously they've said this is where we're going, I think the president should respect that. Even in the north, you are trying to create a kind of confusion because the governor of Kano State, with some like minds in that section of the country, has already said that this is not workable now. The governor of Kano State has already opened up a Ruga settlement where we have schools, water, and talk of anything you could need in amenities. And over the first set of herdsmen, that when there were over 2,000, TVC did a report on that. They even said this is okay for them. Their wives will not be carrying wara all around and be vulnerable to being raped again. So now that you are saying they should be measuring or rediscovering grazing routes, what do you want the state governors to do, who are already setting up all those things to bring a permanent solution to the conflicts we have? And conclusively, you can't have a situation whereby the nation is going towards one direction and yet it's trying to take us back so many years behind. Because anything that we can do to save lives, even if it is in the constitution, which is not, that this thing can be done, these routes can be rediscovered, for saving lives, you should amend that part of the constitution.
It's okay. Dr. Kayode, Nigeria is not among the top 10 countries of the world producing either milk or exporting beef. Nigeria is not even among the top 20 countries of the world that is exporting beef, when it comes to that business. So talking about the chain, Nigeria is not amongst them.
No.
Yet Nigeria is Nigeria is among the top 5 countries, let me say, that is suffering a lot of damages to life and property, courtesy of cattle-related incidences, as the case may be. Talk to me why this is so much of a big deal.
And even it's as if you were reading my mind, because that was the particular area I was tending to go.
Okay.
Because basically, I want to agree with everything that my brother had said, other than to now add some other links. You see, Nigeria is at a point at which we should be healing our wounds now through these headers, which has been pinned down on the Fulanis. I mean, using Baba Obasanjo's words now in his recent letter to the president. So many mayhems.
But the tribe is not the only herders that we have.
At least all these killings and all that had been allotted to that particular tribe,
which is certainly unfair, because
you might say
you and I know
it gets on where I'm going.
Yeah, but the point there is, if we have to reiterate that, because you and I have established at one point or the other that there are times where some people perpetrate an act.
I even said it on this particular
and they say
platform.
They come from a certain and then you dig deep and you discover they are not from there.
It's a get on where I'm going, Mike. Let's get to where I'm going, Mike.
Right.
Much as I believe, much that I also strongly have that notion that even some of these Fulani herdsmen are not even Nigerians. Those of them that are committing these heinous activities in our country are not even Nigerians. But
I may not even be Fulani.
But when a particular scenario is playing towards a particular person, that person needs to be a bit careful. Our president is a Fulani man. All right? And we all know that the southern governors had said this, okay? And even constitutionally, they are very right. But when you look at Land Use Act, who owns the land of a particular state? Do you understand? When it also comes to, let's say, poultry farmers or pig farmers, has the president been so much interested in them other than this Fulani related occupation? Remember, listen.
I will be
because I will want the president. Mike.
But Dr. Kayode, the point there is, I want us to put things in perspective.
That is what I'm trying to do.
The use of the word or the name Fulani reduces the context of what we're trying to discuss.
It wouldn't don't reduce it because for us to understand it,
no,
we have to pin it properly on a particular concept.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's pin it. That's why I said.
Let's pin it.
That's why
let's pin it to the occupation or to the endeavor. It is better in that context so that you are also capturing those who are not Fulani but are also in the business.
But what I'm saying,
so you're doing justice to it that way.
We wouldn't, not until when we say the way it is. We wouldn't be doing justice to it, except we say the way it is. Look at poultry farmers. Look at pig farmers and others like that. Okay? The president had not been so much interested except on these cattle routes and all that. The land belongs to the governors. Okay? What are the governors saying? The governors are saying, look, we don't want this again. This is what we want. And because the authority on all those lands are being vested in the governors, why should the president now say no? That is one. Two, when you also look at what he is quoting, that we have cattle routes before now and all that, do we still have them? We don't have them again. So of what special interest is the president having? We have to look at this thing properly for us to be able to advise him. Now, where I now want to go is this. The National Assembly, both the Senate and the House of Reps, I think they also have checks and balances on the executive. What is that particular arm of government doing as regards this? You have senators from the South. You have members of House of Reps from the South. What are they also doing? Sorry, as regards this. I think it is also high time those people to decide on their own to say, look, we legislators, federal legislators from so place are saying no to open grazing. All right. Also, the states houses of assembly, what are they also doing? These people too should also come up with laws concerning their environment, concerning their areas. So what I've said, especially now, is this, to sum it up. One, the president should stop having special interest in this open grazing. It's not within his purview to say, look, you have to allow it in your state. It's outside his purview when you look at Land Use Act. Two, both the senators and the members of House of Reps, they should also come up with their own stand, because that is what we call checks and balances in organs of government. They should also come up. Then houses of assembly should also come up with enabling law that will guide what the governors are decided in the South. By the time you put all these things together and then you allow objective thinking to reign, we will be healing wounds. Honestly, we'll be healing wounds.
Okay.
Not to be expanding the wounds we have already.
Okay. Shijibumi, let me come back to you on this. You made reference to the issue of the old constitutions that created issues or room for grazing routes. Now, in cattle rearing, there are two things involved here. One, the Land Use Act as to where should be designated, and all of that is there. And by constitution, it is under the residual list, which is under the state government. If you see it as an occupation where it is under agriculture, it is under the concurrent list where the federal and the state government have jurisdiction, as the case may be. So what kind of communication do you think should exist between the federal government and the state governments that are coming together to say, no, we don't want grazing again? What kind of communication do you think should exist for there to be a common stand for both sides?
I think the kind of communication should be something that is sincere and apolitical. So many problems we have is the fact that people want to be politically correct. The governor I respect so much, because of this issue, is the governor of Ondo State. And
why is that?
And he's in the president's party, which makes me to be excited about his stance. Because if it were to be the governor of Oyo State, we would have said it's because it's opposition. Every time something comes from the presidency, this guy, the report still said this morning that he's aides. You cannot grant, if you didn't give them the go-ahead, they won't release that report. And they're saying there is no grazing route in Ondo State. The governor of Bayelsa said, we're into fishing. We're not even into cattle rearing. So there's never been grazing route here. So and we can see something from Arakuni, is not beclouded by political aspirations, to the best of my knowledge. If you look at Masari, who has said yesterday, the governor of Katsina State, that by 2023 is not more into active politics. People like that, when they want to take decisions, you will see that their decisions are more or considerably on the side of the people than somebody who is still looking at being a vice president or being a president later in future. And I don't know what they're looking for, because it takes you from a whole generation to be governor. It's not easy to be governor. You are spending 8 years, you are spending maybe the lifetime of your whole generation. So God has really blessed you. So it should be a sincere talk. If everybody can be like Arakuni, the president doesn't have a choice. Ordinary executive order to make sure that Jusun and legislative people have their autonomy. The governors came. Until now, it's a problem. And he even said it himself, that they did not allow local government to have autonomy. That's the power of the governors. But they will not use that power when it comes to something like this. Have you seen the kind of tenacity Arakuni is showing from other state governors? You have not. Everybody is permutating and calculating for 2023, which may not be around, God forbid for all of us, but the fact is people must die. So these are the things that I find very surprising. We should come together. This is what we want. And by the time the South takes that stance, then and when you look at the pattern, the middle belt also normally toes that line. So if we have...
The governor of Benue State has been on the... In fact, the anti-grazing law has been on the law.
When it comes to giving due respect to someone on this issue, I'm not saying on other issues, but on this issue, then you have to give accolades to that guy. He has been very courageous. And he made a statement over the weekend, which I for a very long time, which I have been expecting from him, that now, they are not crying anymore. They are going to do something. They are going to defend themselves. Nobody has this monopoly of now only we feed one. Because it has gotten to a stage whereby governors should back their people. The best resources you have is your people, human resources. So when you back them, see what happened in Iganga. They made sure that they repel them and they dropped 5 of those guys. So when you know that even this place you are going to attack, you may not come back alive. Even you that you are going to attack the place, then you will have some reasoning.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, we don't have all the time anymore, but we look forward to a seamless arrangement where everybody, you just do your business.
We do say the truth.
I do mine, and everybody moves on. At the end of the day, Nigeria is the ultimate beneficiary because you pay your taxes, you pay yours, and I pay mine, and then we can all enjoy as a country. All right, thank you so much, Ijibumi Adibi Bennett, for coming on the program. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you, Dr. Dayo Kayode, for coming on the program.
And congratulations once again.
Thank you. Thank you.